Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, welcome to the stream, welcome to another video working on this guy right here. That is Dominic's 1970 Dodge Charger from the movie Fast and Furious. Let me run the intro and we'll get right into it. Well guys, we are trucking along, pardon the pun, we're trucking along pretty good here. I just finished painting the disc brakes for the front of the car because that's what we're going to focus on today, is getting some of the front end done and maybe have all the undercarriage finished. So we'll take a look here. As I said, I just finished painting the front disc brakes. We'll get to those in a little bit while I let that dry. Okay, so change the camera and see what I'm doing. Oh, before I do that, I wanted to talk about something. One of you guys left a comment on my last video regarding my chrome window trim and asked me why I didn't mask it and spray it with the Molotov chrome. Now somebody had commented on there that I had said that the Molotov doesn't spray very well, and that's not right. The Molotov chrome, that's, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's this stuff here, Molotov liquid chrome. This stuff does spray very well. I'll put up a link up here for the video I did when I tested this stuff to see if I could find a clear coat that would retain the chrome look, because I had seen videos online of guys trying to spray clear on this stuff, and when you spray clear on it, it kind of tends to turn to just become silver paint and not chrome anymore. And of course everyone's trying to, well, I don't say everyone, but we're trying to put a clear coat on it because this stuff is very fragile. Okay, if I touch this with my finger on that chrome, it's going to turn it silver, and that really sucks because this thing comes out looking like a really nice, brilliant chrome. As you can see in the video here in the cameras, that's a nice chrome color. It looks chrome, it looks great. Anyway, the reason I didn't spray it is because, to be honest, at the time I didn't think about it. That's really the real reason why I didn't spray it. Thinking back now, it's like maybe I should have. I could have taken the time and masking it off, masking everything off. It would have taken a little bit, but it would have been nice, and the lines would have been nice and crisp and straight and everything. So in hindsight, I should have sprayed it. Now I've got this thing assembled with the glass in there, I don't want to spray, so that's even more masking. And of course I don't even have windows to be able to mask on the sides, so I'd get overspray in the interior, probably overspray in the engine. I don't want that, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know, it's not because it doesn't spray well, it actually sprays really nicely, and you can make it go a long way by even adding lacquer thinner to it, and it sprays good. But yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to address that, and yeah, let's get into this. So yeah, we have this, and my lines for the chrome, yeah, they don't look 100% perfect, but it's not bad. I'd say the imperfections on the plastic molding are showing more than my imperfections on the chrome paint. Anyway, so today, yes, we got to go back. We finished off our radiator and our radiator support. Okay, so we've got that done. So we're going to install that along with our little bracket, number 5, G, where are you? Right here, I think. Number 5, this guy right here. Looking at some pictures of the real car, real life 1970 Dodge Chargers, This plate here goes over top of the hood latch. And it's going to stick out from here like that. So, just determining where I'm going to put glue. I don't think it matters whether I put it on before this one or I put it on after, so yeah. I do want to have it straight up and down. Hold that for a sec. I want to have it straight like that. Okay. Alright, that's it for a sec. We'll grab the body here and we'll see how our rad support's going to go in. It's supposed to go all the way into here. Apparently. Maybe I should have glued this on after. That's going to go in there. That's going to be a really tight fit. Okay, I did not test fit this before now, so you're seeing this live as I'm trying to figure out how this is supposed to go in. How about like this? Not the greatest in fitting, are you? They're not telling me whether it's supposed to go onto this frame or not, and well, right now it's not fitting at all. Getting there. It is a snug. Oops, what just fell off? Oh, my horns. My horns! My horns were not placed properly. With the horns off, it fits. Look how close the tolerance is on our fan belt pulleys. Right in there. That is tucked up really tight. Look at that. Really tight in there. You know, and when I put the fan on the front of the pulley there, on the front of the engine, when I put that fan on there, I was thinking maybe I shouldn't have pushed it quite as far as I did. Well, I'm glad that I did. Okay, so let's get some glue on this so that it stays. Just gonna try and determine where it's contacting inside here. It's like there and there. Okay, so we're going to get some thin set. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge to get my horns back in there. I'm really surprised that those were the things restricting it from going in. glue from underneath here. And from in here. That ought to do it. Okay. So our radiator is in. We finally have some cooling for our engine. Or should I say we're going to have some cooling. So that's in. Next is our, looks like our lower rad hose, number 39, needs to go in. And that's going to be fun trying to get that in here. That's always fun. Lower rad hose, number 39. Let's see if I can find it. I think these are the hoses and stuff. Hoses and stuff. This is 38. There's 39. There we go. Of course, you know, in all my years building car model kits, I'd say lower rad hose is probably the one thing I've installed the least. Simply because they're so difficult to put in sometimes. Okay, so there should be a hole in the lower part of our rad right here, and so that, and then we've got a little point right here where the hose is supposed to connect. So our hose is supposed to go like this. Now we've got a little nub on the tip of the hose, but there's no hole for it to actually go in. So I'm going to trim this off so it can try to fit a little more flush on that spot. Okay. Put a little dab of glue on that. And I'll get my tweezers ready. And we'll see. That looks pretty good. I'll get a little bit of thin. There, and pretty good. Look at that, we got a lower rad hose on there, right there. The one with the little white spot on it. Yeah. Okay, good. And that finishes off this page. Okay, so flip her over. And now we're going to look at our front suspension. So for now, we're just going to put our little girl over here, out of the way for now. As we look at our suspension piece, front suspension, we've got a big piece here. Let's grab that. It's our main suspension. I was looking at the instructions again earlier for the rear, this particular spot here, and realized a couple of pieces that were supposed to go for the rear suspension. Of course, I've already got the rear suspension already in, right? I skipped ahead on that. And I forgot a couple of things. These parts in particular. I've got some kind of hair on my suspension. I got a hairy suspension. Let's clean this up. This is a nice thing about having a completely black chassis. It's nice and easy to clean up when you're all done. And you go, yeah, okay, I just gotten rid of some of the paint. I've got some of these white spots. Well, that's okay, a little flat black. And just clean them up and everything looks great again. If you're trying to do some kind of, you know, an original car, you know, back in the original days, back in the 70s, they would have painted the undercarriage the same color as a car from the factory. That happened a lot. I don't know if Dodge did that specifically. I was more of a Ford guy, but yeah. Okay, so the first things we do, we've got to take number 59 and add them to our piece here. It looks like we got to add them to the underside or the inside here. Like here. So let's take a look at 59. Let's find those. 59. Are those shocks? Yeah, that's these guys here. Here's our front shocks. Front shock absorbers. Front shock absorbers. You know, a lot of times from the factory, your shock absorbers are the same color as your car, or the undercarriage, frame, suspension, stuff like that. So if your frame and stuff, or if your suspension's all black, usually from the factory, your shock absorbers are black. Then you go and buy aftermarket ones, brand new ones, and they're silver. Happens a lot. Okay, so they do have little pegs on them. They're at an angle, so they're supposed to go here, and when you get them in right, looks like they're going to be at an angle. I don't like the fact that you're guessing at the angle. You're hoping that they've molded it so that it sits where it's supposed to perfectly. And you're kind of hoping. I don't really like that, right? I'm hoping that's the right angle. See what I mean? I don't know if it's actually going to be the right angle because it's not on the car yet. And that's something I don't like. I don't like it when you're guessing that kind of stuff. But I suppose it's not actually connecting to anything on the upper part. So it doesn't really matter so much. There we go. Our shock absorbers are in. That's that. Okay, so now we got to grab 61, 53, and our brake rotors. Brake rotors, of course, I had just finished painting those when I started. Okay, I'm just going to trim this off here and drop that on the floor. '61 and 53. Let's see, where are you guys? You're on this screw. Nope. I will need this soon. Here we are. You're over here. Okay. $61. $53. All right. We're getting to the point where a lot of the sprues, a lot of our parts are done. It's done. Yeah. So I'm getting a lot of empty sprues now. Okay, so let's make sure I don't have any unsightly things, such as nubs. It's all cleaned up good. These look like anti-sway bars. Sometimes I just call them sway bars. Our disc brakes have a big funny shape on the side that it's going to mount on there. Okay, so we got to flip this over, and let's start with this one. This one goes on this way, and it's going to mount. Let's see. Looks like this pin here is going to go over here, I think, to the outside. This. Sometimes tweezers just don't hold on to it tight enough. The angle that they have this on, almost like that's going to go underneath. Kind of like that. I don't know how far into the holes these are supposed to go. If I try and put these at the top, put these at a funny angle. Let's try and look at the picture. The next picture where it's installed, they do show them what looks like these inner parts here, these guys here and here. Looks like they're going underneath, just like I was thinking. But I want to open the holes just a little bit. It's not really wanting to go into the holes very well, so I want to open them up just a hair. Maybe that'll help them get into their spots better. Yeah, see, that's better. That's much better. Okay, let's put some glue on this guy. Glue there. Glue there. It's almost like these two guys don't even connect at all. They're just floating in the air like they're going to touch something on the frame. Then we have this guy, and he's going to go in these holes like that. interesting little bar going up there that's kind of weird, but that's all right. I'm going to turn this over. This. Since he's touching all that stuff there. There we go. So that's done. Finally, we have our brake rotors. And they're supposed to go with the rotor facing forward, but that ain't working. How they're showing this is upside down, unless they're left and right. Ah, they are left and right. How about that? It's going to go on just like that. This guy. In his home. Whoop. 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 Almost his home. Just a little extra just to make sure. There we go. Okay, our little front clip is assembled, and now we'll put that into the chassis. So, let's try and see where it's supposed to all go in. We've got some holes here. All the way back to here, and here I think is where those are going to go. There. Our shot looks like our pieces here and here are supposed to mount up here and here. One thing I need to do before I actually glue it down is figure out it's a little bit confusing because we've got little divots here and then a hole here, and I don't know if that's done on purpose or if it's for another kit or something like that. These don't actually line up to anything unless you're supposed to spread them apart. There's no holes back here that these actually line up to, unless it's supposed to be these. Okay, let's assume it's those. Trying to get our shocks in. Shocks are supposed to go through the holes here in the A-arms, which of course shocks are already glued in, and you need to spread them a little bit to get them to go. That lined up. One side is cooperating, this side is not. There we go. There, we're in. Our little rear arms, I'm going to have to hold them down with the glue because they're sticking up. This one's not bad. This one's sticking up in the air like that. Now, something that needs to be worked on is how the wheels sit on the front and how the car is actually going to sit. See, the front wheels don't really tuck in under the fenders very well, and that's where I get into this part here with the rear end. We're supposed to put these blocks on here and here, like not these two. These guys just sit here in this open area. Okay, but we've got these other ones, number 121 and 124. These guys are supposed to go here here, here, and here. And that's where your leaf springs would mount. Okay? But of course I have my leaf springs tucked on the inside because I narrowed the rear end and all that good stuff. So that's why mine is different. But you're supposed to mount the leaf springs on these 2 points. Okay? Right here and right here. Okay? And that's where these little blocks are supposed to go. Okay? And what they would do is you put those down first and then you put the leaf springs on, and that's actually going to raise up the back end of the car a little bit and give it a bit of a rake, right? That's what they call it. But because I didn't put those blocks in, my rear end is actually tucked up inside the chassis a little more than it would be. So my car might have a reverse rake to it depending on what we're going to do. So I'm not gluing this in yet because I might have to do a little custom work on our front end to get our tires to sit more like this, up tucked in like that instead of like that, right? It looks like, just in test, in a little dry run here, it looks pretty good. I think I might be okay. I might not have to do anything with it. The car does sit a little high for my liking. I would like the whole thing to maybe, you know, sit maybe that high off the ground or even lower, but that's okay. I think we're going to be okay. I don't think I need to modify anything. I think it's going to look fine. So, that being said, we can put some glue on the front end. This looks like it's supposed to tuck in there, but it's not. It's just kind of sitting out in the open, floating there. That's alright. Let's put some glue on our points of contact. Just kind of want to pop out a little bit from the frame. But it's not that important. It's not that big a deal. What is important is getting enough glue that it's going to hold in all of our spots. Try and see every point where it's actually touching something. Looks like our rotors might be touching the top of the A-arm. If I can get in there. One thing I am trying to be mindful of every time I turn this thing around is not to touch my chrome. That is always the challenge. Okay, our last piece, this one needs to be glued. And this is the one that I'm going to have to hold down in its spot for a minute, otherwise it's just going to pop up. So just do that. And I'll just do that while I have a sip of coffee. And give this a minute to dry here. Even though it's a quick setting, the quick type, I want to do this. While I'm waiting, I'll take a look at what's next. Now I could put our little blocks on here. It might just tidy up the back end, and I'll take a look at those. Those are these guys here. Okay, little blocks. It doesn't really do anything for actually closing up any holes or anything. In fact, it just creates more holes. So I'm not going to bother putting our rear end blocks on. These ones here, 150 and 151, I might do those. Let me find those on the sprues. It's not on this sprue. These guys here, I believe. Yeah, these two. These two are supposed to go there. Oh, they seem pretty big. Okay, let's see if it's safe to let go of this. Yep, it's holding. Okay. 150 and 151. Let's take a look at these. The sculpting on this is not very good. But let's get these off the sprue. While I'm at it, I'm going to take the battery off of here. Take the battery off. Obviously got to do a little detail painting on that. And I might add the actual battery cables coming off of it, just to add a little bit of detail. Okay, let's clean this up. Let's see how this is supposed to go in there. We want the slanted part facing forward, which means this should, like, what the heck are they doing here? Is it supposed to be like this? It doesn't even fit in that spot. It's supposed to go right there, unless I've got it on the wrong side. Oh yeah, it goes like that. Okay, sure. Okay, you can be happy in that new home. Of course, this side doesn't want to. There we go. This one just fits in a little tighter. Okay, what I thought was an imperfection in their molding, it's actually fits for this little, this might be the fuel line coming through here, going underneath there and then underneath the tire, but they've actually put a little slot, a little notch for the fuel line there. So, okay, kudos to you. That was a nice little attention to detail. So we've got our little blocks in, whatever they're supposed to be. I do not know, but they're there. Okay, so our undercarriage is finished. Next would be the rear end and the drive shaft, which is obviously already there. We're already done with that. Okay. Rear shocks. Rear shocks, 143 and 44. Do I still have them, or did I throw them away thinking I wasn't going to use them? I may have thrown them away. They're not chrome. Oh no. I still have them. 143 and 44. These two guys here. Let's see if I can still install these guys. A lot of times when you're doing custom stuff like this, your original mounting points for your suspension you can't use, and some suspension parts won't go where they're supposed to. So where do we connect this? These are supposed to connect to those little pin things on the leaf springs, which of course I had to trim off because of the tires. This one is here, so I can mount it on there, possibly. It's supposed to go down there. Oh, it's way too tall now. It's much too tall. Our angles are way off. So unless I just kind of fake it and trim off the bottom of the shock, I could try and fake it and just trim the shock. I take a look at how much of it is too long. Okay, let's trim off roughly this much. That was a pretty good guess. Oops. Okay. Okay, one shock absorber installed. This one, however, has no actual mounting point, so I'm gonna really fake this one out. Okay, this one's really gonna be fake. So I'm just gonna glue it to the side of the leaf spring. And I just trimmed it the wrong way. I'm literally just gonna glue it to the edge there. In fact, there. So, some glue on the bottom. It's kind of where it would be normally, but obviously there's no actual spot to put it. So there we go. Our shock absorbers are in. Not that you guys can really see the detail because it's all black, but and because I didn't paint them silver or anything silly, it's not really going to be a point of detail that you can really see. You can sort of see it if you catch it in the right light. You can see the shock absorber right there and right there, and that's good enough. They're installed. Okay, that's it for this page. That ends this page. So let's flip her over and see what's next. Next are our wheels. Now we've already done the rear tires, obviously. So we're going to do our front, these guys. Okay. Our front tires are going to utilize a couple little round discs and our metal pins. Okay. I have our metal pins already here. Oops, careful. There's one, there's two. There's our metal pins. Okay. And we need our two little round discs. And that's these guys. Okay. So one, two. Now we're supposed to paint these gunmetal color or steel, whatever you want to call it. We're supposed to paint these a steel color. I just left them black on mine. We can take our rims. Oh, I gotta get my fourth rim. Our fourth rim. Okay. And because these have a little lip on them, see that there? If you can see it, there's a little lip that goes in towards the wheel. Okay, which means I got to get rid of the chrome on here in order to glue it on. So I like to use my little file and just use the edge and kind of get in there. I did this on the back ones too. And get rid of the chrome on that edge. And of course, doing this also, if you've got if there's any flashing, it gets rid of it and gives you a nice surface to glue that on. Kind of hard to see now with all the chrome flashing, glaring, but yeah. Now I've got the nice, it's molded in white, so obviously it's white there, and that's with the plastic ready for gluing. This one I kind of did, but I didn't finish up. Just get a little more on that edge. There we go. This one's ready. Okay. Doesn't matter whether you put the tire on first or not. I don't think it makes any difference. And these tires are the exact same inside and out, so it doesn't matter which side you have facing out. Okay. What you do need to do though is push it all the way through and get that lip coming over the edge. There we go. Just like that. Okay. So take one of our pins, and the pin's going to go in like this. Okay. Like that. Now, nice thing about this glue and the fact that they're metal, if you happen to slather on the glue too thick and you get glue on the pin, that don't matter because the pin is metal and therefore the glue will not glue the pin. That is something that is nice about this kit. Just pressing down, making sure we got a good bond. There we go. This glue does not glue metal, so that's nice. If you're using CA glue, yes, you would have to be a lot more careful because a CA glue does glue, well, it glues everything. Right, so see, my chat is extremely talkative as usual. Okay, those are glued in. Of course, the next step they want is to put our tires on, but I've literally just glued these and I should wait a minute or two and let that cure a little bit. Okay, so having done that, let's take a look at the next step. We've got our radiator reservoir, overflow reservoir, and our battery. Okay, so let's take a look, and we want this white, 105. Let's see, let's find it, 105.
Eventually,
I just figured it out. It's clear, 105. It's clear, there it is. They go and mold it clear. Why would they mold it in clear? I was almost about to cut these off, but we're not supposed to. What I'm going to do, let's throw that out. What I'm going to do is paint it from the inside. But I don't want it pure white. I want it off-white. So I think what I want to do is find something to mix my white with. Like just a little bit of gray or even yellow. Yeah, I think yellow. I've got some yellow here. X8. I'll put a little drop of yellow with my white. Okay. Some white there. Okay. And I'll put just a little hint of yellow in that. See how what that does to it? Just yellow, just boom, suddenly this is no longer white. But I don't want that much. So I'm going to mix this with even more white. Looks like I might be looking at putting some more, getting some more. So I want this almost white, but not quite. I want a little hint of something else in there. That looks good. Good enough. Where's my part? I'm going to paint it on the inside. So I want to retain the glossiness of it. Just like that. It sticks to my fingers. I want to just retain it like that. I think that's good. Yep, that's good. Okay. Yeah, and I like that it's not quite, it's not super bright white like it's, you know, like they just took it out of the parts department and put it in a car and haven't even filled it yet. You know what I mean? Like I don't want it looking pristine as much as I'm sure Dom would want it to look pristine. Again, I don't even know. Does Dom care about that stuff? Does Dominic really care about how beautiful his car looks? Does he care if it's pretty? I'm sure if you're living your life 1/4 mile at a time, you don't really care how pretty it is, do you? I wouldn't think so. I mean, look at that show. I mean, of all those girls that they were at the racetracks or at the racing events, he could have had any one of those, and he chose Well, yeah, anyway. That's a little bit off topic here. Okay, I think my tires have settled enough that I should, in theory, be able to push these pins in. And we've got our tires installed, and they spin. Doesn't really matter if they spin, but they're installed. And there we go. Okay, so we can set her down on her feet now. Yay! Okay, water container is going to go on these two. Or sorry, water container. How about overflow reservoir, coolant reservoir, something like that. It's going to sit not like that. There we go. It's going to sit there. Like that. Okay. There. Okay, just like that. Now the battery I could install right now, but I don't really want to. It's kind of interesting what they've done. They've kind of put the cable and running it straight down the side of the battery right there. Super tight on each side. It's neat that they've done that detail for the cable coming off of there. I do need to touch up there and there. Let's see where it's supposed to go. Looks like we've got our battery tray. I would say it's supposed to go here. The way they're showing it in the diagram, it almost looks like they want it right here at the top. There's no way that's going to be sticking out of the hood. So it's obviously supposed to go down on this flat area. Yeah, unfortunately, these tweezers are too... I want to use tweezers to get it down there. It's a huge battery. Just like that. And that does look fine. That's alright. The battery really does look out of scale. It looks like an enormous truck battery. Anyway, it does look fine. I'm going to turn this way, and I'm just going to make sure this is a flat edge. There seems to be a little bit of flashing on that. So I'm just going to clean this off so it's flat. So we've got a nice flat surface to glue. Ideally, I would like to scrape away some of the paint on this surface, if I can, if it'll let me, without interfering anything else. I can just scrape away a little bit, just to help the glue get that battery in its spot. A couple of little streaks, that's good enough. And we want to make sure we have it in the right direction. Glue there. Bottom. Tweezer it up. And kind of drop it in its place. There we go. Done. Okay, just in case, I want to put some thin along there. There we go. Alright. Upper radiator hose. Gonna go there, and there should be a hole along here somewhere on the top of the rad. Looks like right there. Okay. And then to the top of the water pump right there. Hose number 38. This guy here. There we go. And while we're at it, we've got our heater hose number 40. Bingo. Okay, rad hose. This should be cleaned up. Again, they've got a peg on this end, and they do actually have a little hole on the top of the water pump, it looks like. Right here for it to go in. So, looks like we've done a good job there. So, some glue on there. I'm going to turn this in a direction that I can actually see what I'm doing. Try and line it up down there first. This actually seems to be a little too long. I'm going to have to get rid of the peg on the bottom of this. Unfortunately, this hose just does seem to be a little too long. It could be because I got a spark plug wire in the way. That could be why I'm having issues getting it to line up. But I got it. Get some glue on there, on this end. She's in. Upper rad hose done. Heater hose now. We got the heater hose done. And then I'll show you guys what we're going to do next time. Now, heater hose is going to go into a little slot on the firewall, and then it's supposed to go to this little slot on the side over here. So let's see if I can find. It's supposed to tuck in right there. It's supposed to tuck in right there. It's a little bit difficult because it's flat. It's kind of supposed to tuck in under our under the rad hose. Okay, so what I want to do is put some glue on the underside of that. And kind of, I wish my pliers bent the other way. When I say bend the other way, I mean in a totally different angle. Of course, now that I've got glue on it, it's going to fall everywhere and put glue everywhere I don't want. That's not where it's supposed to go. Come on. It's almost setting up at the bottom there where it's supposed to, but that was not supposed to happen. Okay, I want to touch it with some thin on the firewall there. That's good. Okay, we're good. Got it. We're good. Heater hose in. Okay. Got our hoses done. So, next is going to be our little bottom fairing, or whatever you want to call it. It goes underneath here. Okay. But we're going to deal with that later. Okay. Goes in like that. But I've got to put the lights on. Okay. Clear lenses go in there for our signal lights here and here. Okay. I'm going to paint those clear orange and then put them in. I'll do that later. Okay. What I want to talk about is our front grille. Here's our front grille. Okay. Now, obviously, the lights are off. That's why these are closed. On the real car, to turn your headlights on, these things, they fold up and expose your front headlights. And in the movie, they're folded up. They're open. They're on. The lights are not turned on, but yet these are open. Okay, and that's what you see in the movie, right? If I bring up a picture, let me take a look at a picture here. From a little scene from the movie. Here we go. Okay, so let's change this and do that. There you go. You see his lights, although his lights are not turned on, they are exposed, and you see that in the movie, totally in the movie like that. And I want to replicate that. Okay, I want to replicate that totally. So how do I replicate that when I have this like that? I need to cut out that section and make that a hole. Okay, I'm going to turn these into a hole. Now I bought another kit. It's like a 1970 Dodge Coronet or something like that, and that car, that model, had the headlights, and so I cut the headlights out of it and I got them here. And I cut them out, I trim them out. They don't look that great, but it looks good enough. Here, I'll change the camera. Okay, that's one of the lights there. It does look a little bit white because, well, the plastic is white around the lens. But I think I can touch that up with some of the Molotow chrome around the edge there where it was connected to the plastic, and that should fix that up. I have 4 of them, okay, right here and here. And I have a little piece of styrene that I've cut out, and I'm going to glue that in on the back there after I've carved the holes out of here. I'm going to carve this completely out. Boom, like that, just that edge. That'll be gone. That'll leave a nice big hole here that I can have the lights glued to on the back here like this. Okay, like that. I'll glue the lights to this piece, and then I'll glue them in like that. And I'll have headlights sitting on this piece here. And I'll paint this all black once the lights are glued on, and then I'll glue it in, and done and done, just like that. Okay, so that's the plan. So off camera I will cut these out. Okay, once I've got the holes done, we'll next time we'll work on the headlights and getting them installed in a grill. Okay, we'll do that next time. So that's where I'm going to leave it for today, guys. That's going to be it for now. And down below you're going to see in the description box there's a few links. And there's going to be links to my Twitch, where you could come on Twitch and you could watch me live, and you could talk to me if you felt like, live while I'm doing this. You can ask me why I'm doing certain things and stuff like that. You could criticize me, tell me I'm pretty, whatever you like. You could also go on my Instagram. After I finish one of these little projects like this, I take a few pictures of it and I upload it on my Instagram, and you can see all the stuff I've done in the last few years. And yeah, also hit that like button, leave comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already. I know a lot of you who watch my channel have not subscribed, so please do me that favor and hit subscribe. And other than that, that's going to be it. Again, we're almost done. We're getting really close to the finish. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Thanks for coming out, and we'll see you all in the next one.